Good morning, ladies. It is Sarah Shipton here from Scrapbooking with Sarah, and I am coming live to you today on Tuesday, September 5th, 2023 for today's Technique Tuesday class, and I am so excited to share this beautiful layout with you all and some fun new techniques that you can use in your scrapbooking. I'm just going to do a quick check on my desktop to make sure this broadcast is live. It is live. We've got Karen watching this morning. Good morning, Karen. Give me a little wave or comment below in the video if you can hear me loud and clear, and we are all looking good. And we've got Trudy watching this morning. Hi, Trudy. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm excited to share today's Technique Tuesday with you, lovely ladies. We are live and we are good to go. Okay, so this week's technique, I'm going to be sharing with you how to create a background design with your stamps. And the reason I wanted to share this with you today is we have two new catalogs that just went live on September 1st, which is so exciting. And with new catalogs comes exciting new product that I cannot wait to share with you all. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with Close to My Heart's catalog cycle, every year we have what we call a core catalogue. In the past, that's what my lovely ladies have known this as. But moving forward, we are going to be calling this catalogue the Essentials catalogue. If you are familiar with our catalogue, you will note that it's a little bit thicker than what it was previously. And that's because we've removed a lot of the third-party items that we were stocking. So we won't necessarily be known anymore as your one-stop shop, but what we will be known for is stocking the essential items you need for your scrapbooking projects, your card making projects, and of course your paper crafting projects as well. So this went live on Friday and this will run through all the way now until August of 2024. If you are at my VIP customer event Friday night, you got your complimentary catalogue. If you are remote from me in Adelaide, when you jump online on my website and place an order in your first catalogue cycle, the website will automatically prompt you to add copies of both the essential catalogue and our mini catalogue free to your order for you. Now, this mini catalogue here, every 2 months, we have a bi-monthly catalogue. So we are live with a September and October book at the moment. And each month we feature a different paper collection. And this month, the paper collection is called The Good Life. So if you are on my newsletter loop, you would have known yesterday when I sent that email out, and in our Facebook group, of course. If you have photos of the following: barns, farms, country, outback, bushwalking, camping, ranch, horses, anything you can think of. And I know that we've got lots of wonderful photo opportunities here in Australia to take these kind of photos, and you've probably got them printed and stashed in your boxes as well. So I want you to grab those photos out and I want you to celebrate your good life. I can't wait to share this paper collection with you. I'm going to recognise one of my fellow makers who actually collaborated with Close to My Heart to bring this paper collection to life for us all. She is in regional Victoria and she was instrumental in creating this beautiful paper collection, which has gorgeous textured wood grain papers, windmills, that corrugated fence iron look, gingham paper, some more wood grain paper, and just a generic brown and white spotted paper. So we've got the gorgeous paper pack with the coordinating stickers, coordinating cardstocks, and of course some die cuts here. This is digital art for those of you that have Cricuts. Now, when we have a new paper collection, we have a coordinating card making stamp set, so you can create cards with that stamp set. And then we also have a coordinating scrapbooking stamp set. So these icons will be much bigger and they quite often come with a thin cut as well. I have pre-ordered this, and it is on its way. So you're going to see this stamp set pop up in some of our weekly challenges moving forward. We have a featured scrapbooking kit of the month. I've posted those images in our Facebook group already yesterday. And then we have a card making featured kit of the month as well. Same again, those images were posted in our Facebook group yesterday, and I'll be running a card making class using this kit on September 22nd from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. If you are local to me here in Adelaide and would like to join in, I would love to have you. So let's get into this week's challenge. So you can see I've used the Good Life papers. I've used some of my leftover stickers. So these stickers here were left over from one of the layouts that we did in the scrapbooking workshop kit. I've got these layouts just close by here, and I wonder, yes, so what we've got here on one of the scrapbooking layouts is you're going to use the stickers, and typically you would just tuck that whole sticker, in and underneath. And what I decided to do was actually cut, these are what we call brads. So I cut the brad sticker right on the line where you could see the letter. And I've stuck that flush up against my cardstock here. And I've used the remaining of these stickers here on my weekly challenge layout. So that's just a little tip for you. If you see a layout where you're going to tuck a sticker right underneath, sometimes it's a tag, it's a really big sticker, and they just shove the whole sticker underneath. My tip to you would be to cut that tag, and then you can actually use that on another layout. So just a little tip there for you. So I've used the remaining leftover stickers from my Good Life scrapbooking workshop kit. I've got a couple more of the stickers here. These are all die cuts, so I'm going to share those with you here today. I've got a 4x6 inch flip flap over the top of my layout to get some extra landscape photos on. We've got a title sticker here, which was left over from my scrapbooking workshop kit. I have stamped out a star here using the Harbour ink. And then here again, we've got a cowboy hat, a sticker from the Good Life scrapbooking workshop kit, and a star from a stamp set I'm going to be sharing with you today, just to do my embellishing. But we've got this gorgeous stamp set down the bottom here. So before I go into the artistic technique, I want to share with you, I mentioned yesterday in the comments section of the layout that I've used pattern paper as my base page here, and you're only going to see 1/2 inch around each side of that scrapbooking page. So what I've done here is actually cut out, I'm going to take this out of its memory protector. This is the back of the pattern paper here, and what I've done here is I've cut a square out of the inside of my scrapbooking layout. So I've measured 1 inch in from each side. To do this, you want to make sure you are doing this on your Versamat, so you are not cutting through your table or anything like that. You want to sit that on that Versamat. And then I have used my T-square ruler. So I'll take the T off, and I've used my square ruler, and I've just measured that at, from the 11 to the 11 across the top there like so. And then I've used a paper scoring tool here. So this is not an item that we sell. You could use the tip of your micro tip scissors. I happened to have one of these paper scoring tools handy. So all I've done there is just applied pressure, and I've cut that using my ruler line from the 1 to the 11. And then I've popped my ruler on the side here like so, and I've cut that from the 11 to the 1. And I've gone all the way around, and then I have been able to punch my square out. Now, I mentioned yesterday, these are 3 separate pieces of paper. So they're going to attach to the base of your scrapbook layout, but you will see where they've met here. I've had to put some adhesive onto some White Daisy scrap cardstock and just sit that over the top where that meets, and that helps to keep that there in place. You can see that's the background of my paper, and this is the back of my mink cardstock that I've stamped on with ink underneath it from when I did the border stamping. So let's demonstrate that border stamping. Now I've shared that tool with you. You know, I love using pattern paper as my background paper, but sometimes you don't want to waste a whole sheet of pattern paper. So cutting out that square underneath is a really great tip to use. So let's get into stamping the border pattern. I have got some scrap paper here that I'm going to pop over the top of my Versamat. I used the mink cardstock to do my this paper here, and we are using pattern number 6 from the Make It From Your Heart Volume 3 book. And this is on page 16 of the book. So this is paper A and F. So in this pattern here, you can see they've used pattern paper, but I've used cardstock, and then I could not wait to stamp this stamp on my cardstock to get that design image. So I've used the Mocha ink. I've got my stamp already on a block. So this is the 2 by 3.5 size inch block. The really great thing that I love about our stamp sets is when you purchase them, I'm just going to grab my catalogue here. Now, this is called, the stamp set that we're using today is the Design Element stamp set. So this is in your September-October catalogue. The code to reference that in case you'd like to order that from my website is the letter D and the numbers 2196. I'll pop a link in the comments to the stamp. But you can see that you've got all these gorgeous design elements on here, and we're using this timber wood grain one here today. Now, when you purchase, that's where I was going with this. When you purchase a stamp set from Close to My Heart, what I love is to actually put what recommended size blocks you're going to need to use the particular stamp set. So if you're new to stamping, in our Essentials catalogue, we have a whole section in the catalogue which helps you to get started with your stamping. So you can see we've got a variety of different size blocks. You don't necessarily need to buy all of those blocks when you get started. A good starting point is with the stamping starter kit. So this comes with the archival black ink, a 2 by 2 inch square block, and then our stamp chamois, which I've actually left in the other room, and I wanted that to show you how to clean the stamp after you have finished using that. So you grab your stamping starter kit, and then you just get your other blocks when you need them based on the stamp set that you are purchasing, and Close to My Heart will let you know what recommended block sizes you are going to need. So the reason why that's so important when you're doing your stamping, girls, is that if you put a stamp on a block, a small stamp on a block that's too big, when I go to ink this up, it's very easy then to rock the block, and then you end up with all this excess ink around the outside of your block. And when you go to stamp your image, you quite often end up with that excess ink on your paper, which can be a bit annoying. So it is really important to use the best size block for your stamp. You can see that this one fits here perfectly. And to help me align that up, it might be a little bit hard. Oh no, you can see that there. There is actually a white line at the edge of the stamp, at the edge of the block. So that helps me to align my stamp up, so I know I've got that nice and straight, and that will assist me when it comes to stamp the image itself. There's also grooves on either side of the acrylic block, so that helps me to hold the stamp really easily, and it helps me to hold the block, and it helps me to position the block easily when I come to stamp this onto my cardstock also. So when you purchase a stamp set with us, there is a little information sheet in here which will give you tips to help you to care for our stamps. My best tip is to be careful when you remove them from the carrier sheet, because if you're too rough with them, you can tear them. This is a my acrylic stamp. So as you can see here, the stamp is actually tacky or sticky, and then that will align onto the block really nicely and hold that in place while you are doing your stamping. Before you use your stamps, you want to condition them to help the ink transfer evenly. So sometimes what you'll see me do is rub on the inside of my arm to help condition that, or what you can do is ink up your stamp, and on some scratch paper, you want to stamp that a couple of times before you use it on your actual cardstock. Your Stamp sets will also come with this foam insert over the top of them. It's really important that you retain this foam insert. You're going to use this as a base to do your stamping on, and it helps to protect your stamps. Once you've wiped them clean with your stamp chamois, you can put them back into the packaging that they came in, and it helps to keep your stamps nice and protected and stored nicely as well. So that insert protects the stamps, but we're going to use that as a tool while stamping as well. So when you're doing your stamping, girls, you want to have one of these Versamats. We call it a Versamat because this side up top is a perfect 12 by 12 inch, and you've got your measurements along the top and the bottom here. So I love this. I scrapbook on this, and in fact some of my ladies have two of these and they sit them side by side when they're doing their double page scrapbooking layout. On the other side of your Versamat, you have got this spongy base, and that is to replicate the foam insert that comes in your stamp set. So whether you prefer to stamp on your on this side of your Versamat, or whether you prefer to stamp on your harder side and use your foam square, is entirely up to you. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this side up. I'm going to make sure I have got some scratch paper here today, because I didn't have any scratch paper on that when I stamped this, and this is how I've ended up with all of this ink on the back of my paper, which doesn't really matter, but I made a little bit of a mess. And if you're someone that doesn't deal with mess well, but it's fun to get inky, girls. It's fun. So I have pre-cut some mink cardstock here. I used the darker side of my mink cardstock, so I'm just going to align that up on my foam square. Oh, I'll bring that up a little bit so you can see that better. So I'm just going to align that up on my foam square like so. And I've used my Mocha ink. So 40 different colors of inks. There are water-based dye inks. So as I said, if you get inky, don't stress. You can wash the ink off, and they're a magnetic case. So really easy. You've got a recessed lid here. If you press your ink together, there's other techniques that you can do where you are getting the ink out of the recessed lid using your water brush or your paint brush or your shimmer brush. We're not going to be doing that technique today. We're just going to do good old stamping, girls. So I've got my stamp on the block. I've already conditioned that stamp, and what I'm going to do is ink that up. So all we're doing is we're tapping that into the ink. I'm not rocking it. All right, I'm just tapping that because the stamp, you can see, is thicker and it comes off the top of the block, right? So you don't need to rock into that stamp. I'm just tapping. The first time you use it, you might want to give it a rub over. So tap, twist, and it just helps to get the stamp, the ink nice and evenly placed on your stamp. You can do a test stamp on your scratch paper if you want to. I'm just going to go right in because I'm not that fussed. And all I'm doing here is I am lining up my stamp using the see-through of the block, and I'm going to press that down onto my cardstock. Okay, so I've got stamp number 1. Now, you might have noticed that I went off the edge of the paper there. So the idea is that you're going to feed this stamp along. So what I did when I stamped my background image was I started down the left-hand side here. I went along the bottom because I knew I was going to see that. I went across the top, and then I only had to do one into the side. So in the middle here was actually empty. But the stamp is designed for you to then move that along. Let's move that along, and I'll stamp that other one in here for you. You can see here I could have gone a little bit closer to the edge of the paper. I have to say it's a little tricky to do it standing up, and I've got my phone here in front of me as well, so I can't necessarily lean all the way over. So now what I'm going to do is align this up with this stamp into here, and then I'm going to press that down like so. So you create this border pattern. Now, if you overlap a little or you miss it, it's not going to matter because it's meant to look rustic and fun and wood grain, yeah? So don't get too bogged down in the perfection of it. There were a couple that are overlapped, but unless you're looking super closely, you are not even going to notice. You know what? So people are going to be too busy looking at your beautiful photos and reading your words. So that's how you are going to use your design element stamps. So depending on how big the piece of paper is, so the cardstock that you're stamping will determine how high you need to go up. So I'm going to line that up and press that down, and you would do that all the way up. I love this wood grain effect. I think it's so cool. I actually love all sorts of textured paper. I love the texture. I love running, and you can't feel it. It looks textured, but it doesn't feel textured. I love running my hands along textured paper when it's in a scrapbooking layout. I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then you would do the same there all the way up. And that's how you get your wood grain paper. So you might create this as a base for your journaling box. You might do a whole design all over the page. But the thing that I love about this stamp set, girls, is all the different designs that you've got. This one is the one we've just used. I love ones that look like paintbrush strokes. This one here is like a cracked pavement. And in fact, on Friday night when my VIP customers came to my open house, they did a little make and take activity, and you can see here on the toffee cardstock, we've stamped this cracked pavement stamp set. I love it. And this again, this particular stamp set is not even, and so you have to move the stamp around and reposition it in order to get all of the cardstock stamped, but you don't notice where you've got the pattern meeting because it's actually kind of meant to look like that, okay? So I love that. I love this paper's quite masculine, so this would be a great birthday card for a male in your life. And I've actually used the With Love stamp set B1837, which is a really great stamp set. It's got a combination of lots of different sentiments. So like if you are going to invest in like just one stamp set to make cards, that one would be a really good one because it's got a combination of sentiments on there. This is the same card. We've just moved the cardstock over. So this one here gives you a better look of that cracked pavement look on the toffee cardstock. You might have noticed here we distressed the edges using the inside of the micro tip scissors. Our cardstock has a white core, so distressing that with your micro tip scissors is really fun, and then you can see the white core of the cardstock. So again, it's giving that sort of grungy, rustic outdoors feel, whereas this one we didn't distress that. I've just moved my cardstock over and I've stamped a different stamp. This one here says "To my dearest," and then you've got father and mother on the stamp set, so you can mix that up a little bit. Because it was Father's Day, I had those stamps on the block, and I said to the girls, if anyone wants to make their card a Father's Day card instead of a happy birthday card. And then because the stamp was smaller, we had to use the design element stamp set here. We use that just as a little border pattern there just to fill up that cardstock space as well. So I think that looks super, super cool. So that's using the Good Life papers. These are the Journey dots. Do you love how my nail polish coordinates, girls? Yes, I went and got my nails done on Friday with the Journey colour. So I looked really good in our video for today. And what else was I going to share with you? Stamp set, Journey dots, Good Life paper pack, design element stamp set. Oh, I stamped that in toffee on the toffee cardstock. There was something else I was going to tell you then, but then I got sidetracked by sharing my nails with you. I can't remember. It's okay. If I think of it, I'll post it in the comments. Rightio then. So I'm going to move this stamp set out of the way, and I am now going to show you how I stamped and thin cut the little stars. We've got some boots, some horseshoes, some stars, and a cowboy hat. Now, last week we had a clearance sale, girls. The clearance sale finished. I was spamming the socials hardcore on both my Instagram and my Facebook page with this clearance sale, and I was dropping lots of hints saying, hey guys, these are some stamp sets that I think are going to work really great with the paper collection we have coming in September. And one of them was this stamp set. It's called Life in Boots. It's a stamp set in the thin cut. It has sold out. So I was so bummed because I'd created this layout and I was excited to share it with you. If you come to my workshops, you can borrow my set. But guys, I got this set for $18. And you know what? I hadn't ordered this set because I honestly didn't think I would ever have any time to use it. So I have a little bit of a process when I'm purchasing our stamp set and thin cuts. The ones that I know I absolutely 100% want and will use again and again and again, I will buy that without fail, because in the little mini books, when the mini books come out, they are only, the sets that are in here are only here for the duration of that book. So if you see something in the September, October catalogue, do not delay, grab that set. Then I might wait, and if the stamp set's still available and if it's on sale, it's in a flash sale. So this was like reduced right down to $18, the stamp set and the thin cut, and I was so excited. So we've got the boots and the hat and the horseshoe, which I use. We've got some sentiments here. I'd never ordered it because I don't really have a lot of photos of me doing this kind of stuff. Well, I thought I didn't, but guys, come on. Did you see all those layouts I had there? So let's do the stamping first. I'm just going to stamp a couple of the stars. I've got my Harbour ink. I'm going to take my star off the carrier sheet here. I'm going to pop it on the block. I actually could have put this on a smaller block, to be honest with you. We do have a little 1 by 1 inch block. So I'm just going to ink that up. Oh, that's not even. We're going to ink that up. I'm going to pop some stars on here. So we're just applying pressure. Can you see how I'm not rocking into it? I'm just tapping it. I'm just tapping it. You can give it a little twist or wipe it over. I don't have any excess ink here on my block at all, okay? I'm just tapping it. You don't need to go crazy. Press super hard. It's going to ink up really nicely. So I've got my ink on there. What we are going to do now is I've got some coordinating thin cuts for these stamp sets. When you look at your stamp set, you'll be able to tell what is coordinating with a thin cut, because the stamp is actually blue. So the boots, the horseshoe, the cowboy hat, and these stars here have got coordinating thin cuts. And when you look at it in the catalogue, it will be the same in the catalogue as well. So I'm just going to grab my little star. That's all we need for today. I'm going to move this out of the way and this out of the way, and bring my Cuttlebug over. So a die cutting machine. We do stock a die cutting machine. It is a big investment. It's $264 for the die cutting machine. If you don't have a die cutting machine, our Close to My Heart one is on my website. I do offer a afterpay option, but the afterpay option is only in store because I process that with my merchant. When you order on the Close to My Heart website, guys, with a card, it is Close to My Heart processing that order with your card. The order is attached to me. The commission gets direct deposited to my bank account. So I do not have an afterpay option online. I'm sorry for those of you that are remote from me. So if you don't have an embossing machine and you need to invest in an embossing machine, our Close to My Heart one, I am actually going to upgrade to it this month. Now, I've got my A plate down. I've got my magnetic plate over the top. I've put my cardstock over that, and then I've got my little star over there. I don't need to use any tape to hold that in place because the magnetic cutting sheet will do that. And then I'm putting my C plate over the top of that, and that just gives me the width and the thickness that I need to pop this in my Cuttlebug and run that through. If you've already got an embossing machine, a lot of the embossing machines on the market will work with our thin cuts. So we call them thin cuts, but it's basically a die cut. And then I've got my little star. So cool. The magnetic cutting sheet is an item that's on my website. But the plates themselves that I'm using here actually came with my Cuttlebug machine. So that's how you do your stamping and your thin cutting. We call it stamping and thin cutting, but it's basically stamping and die cutting. So they are our techniques for today, ladies. I hope that you enjoyed me sharing that with you. I hope that you participate in the weekly scrapbooking challenge. You can use your stash, any of your Close to My Heart papers or products that you've got in your stash. If you don't have Close to My Heart papers, you can use items and say it's just from your stash. Unfortunately, our marketing and selling policy prevents me from promoting other companies' brands in my Facebook group. So you can just pop papers from my stash in your photo there. If you'd like to participate, you go in the draw to recreate the layout. And then you get a bonus ticket if you use the papers that I have featured in this week's challenge, which is the Good Life paper pack. With the workshop scrapbooking kit, girls, I did share those images yesterday in my newsletter. I'll post these to our Facebook group as well. So this is one of the layouts from the scrapbooking workshop kit. I didn't even talk about these photos. These photos were taken at Fort Wilderness, which was a ranch / working farm in the Magic Kingdom in Disney. This is where all the horses that they use in Disney live. This is Disney World in Florida. This was the Hoop-de-Doo review musical dinner, which was so fun. So again, set in a big barn, and it was a theatre show about the frontier land of America. I've used a Pocket Plus memory protector here for those extra photos. And yes, that is me wearing a raccoon and a bear hat on my head. The other workshop layout we have using the Good Life papers. This is the Malleefowl restaurant in the Riverland. So lots of country outback. We've got the corrugated iron fences. We've got the animals. We've got the windmills. Just your typical outback Aussie pub, girls. Who doesn't love an outback Aussie pub? And then I've used a memory protector Pocket Plus to get my extra photos there. And then the last layout was of Silverton. Again, these photos looked absolutely beautiful with the Good Life paper collection. We've got the original Outback sign as you come into Silverton, the iconic Silverton Hotel out on the, oh, actually, no, that was in Silverton. We've got the sign coming in and the windmill here. I took so many photos in Silverton that I needed a whole extra memory protector Pocket Plus. No, actually, this is a memory protector pocket scrapbooking page to get all these extra photos of Silverton in. So this will actually sit in between my scrapbooking layout in the album. And then I've popped a flip flap here over the top. This was the Mundi overlooking the Mundi Plains, and the journaling box here in my layout. So they are the extra 3 layouts for the Good Life. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in live this morning. It was great to see you online. Trudy, Karen, and Jill, thanks so much for watching. I will post our video. You can watch this back. I look forward to seeing what you create this week with the challenge, girls. Have a great week.